What's going on, guys? Noah White here again with another video. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. I'm noticing the channel is, it's not growing rapidly, but it is growing slowly, and I really appreciate that. I know I tell you guys all the time, but I do appreciate you guys hanging around and watch me work on these random cars. I do have a track event scheduled for the Lexus. It's the last event of the season before the track closes, so that'll be October 16th. So I am going to be going back to Sonoma Raceway, so I don't know if any of you guys are from around that area and you feel like signing up, possibly come through, say what's up. I would love to talk to anyone if you guys are there. Last video I was trying to get that intercooler piping all sorted out. I think I got something worked out. It's not the prettiest solution, but I think it should work. So I got that sorted. I also got a radiator I'm going to install today. I'm going to try and get the downpipe on. What I'm unsure about is actually the battery. Since that intercooler pipe runs right where the battery was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to run the battery in the stock location or if I'm going to have to relocate it to the trunk, which I honestly don't like doing. But I don't know. Let me show you guys what it looks like. So first things first, I ended up was able to successfully get this intercooler pipe through the frame rail utilizing the pipes that I had. I had to do a lot of cutting and a lot of measuring just to try and get something that would work. What I'm concerned about is if this pipe right here is actually going to clear the bumper, because this comes out to the bottom of the bumper and this is kind of sticking out kind of far, but I don't know. I'm hoping I can get it back there, but my hole looks really ugly down there, but sure enough does come down into the 90 that I bought and up into the turbo. I'll see if I can get you guys a view at that. You can see it's coming up there just into the turbo, clears the traction bar, and everything is good there, so shouldn't have any problems with that. So on to the next problem. So I got a radiator. I know I told you I was going to run a Skunk 2 Alpha, but you know, I just couldn't help myself. And as always, I'm trying to save you guys some money. I don't need to save the money. I'm trying to prove to you guys that, you know, things are possible to still do on a budget as usual. So I got this radiator. It's from a company called DNA. They're on Amazon. This was only 112 bucks. Came with a fan, shroud, and an aluminum dual core radiator and a radiator cap and everything. So I don't know how well it's going to perform. I mean, if it's built like any other radiator, it should be okay so long as like it doesn't leak, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna have to only thing I'm gonna have to do, I think, is to cut the old connector off of the old fan and just crimp it on to this fan. Then I can just plug it straight up into the factory harness and it'll turn on and turn off when it needs to. But that guy should sit right here. Oh, this is made for a 92 to 2000 Civic, so I don't know how well it's going to mount up. We'll see in a minute, but I don't know, I'm sure I'll figure something out. And then lastly, this intercooler pipe right here, which I'm going to have to attach the blow-off valve to, which is going to, you know, stick out even probably like right here, is all in the way of the battery. So don't disregard this wiring. That wiring was for it goes over here for the radiator and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about the battery now, because that battery, I think, is not going to fit in that location. I want it to fit there, but I might have to move it to the trunk. And I just hate running long power wires and ground. Well, the ground wire would be short. I just don't like running long power wire to get up here to the starter. So I don't know. I'm hoping I can fit it in there, but we'll see. Only other solution would be go to a really slim battery, but like an Odyssey battery or a Braille battery maybe, but I don't think that's gonna be what I'm gonna do. So we'll see. But let me try and get this radiator fitted and then go from there. So for sure, I had to get rid of the battery tray. Just wasn't gonna work. Couldn't even fit the radiator in here. And man, this is just bringing back memories of messing with these Hondas. As you guys know, I haven't messed with these Hondas in a long time. But anyway, this radiator, it will fit in here, but it has to fit not like flush against this right here. It has to fit like at an angle. And I remember back in the day, people used to run the radiators like that all the time, just because they just did whatever they could to get it to fit. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. So I went on ahead and put the downpipe on. Remember, I'm gonna have my buddy fix this downpipe. I got the other CX Racing downpipe in my trunk, so I'm gonna go ahead and have him, like, you know, routed out the back for me. But for now, this has the O2 bung in it, so I can at least start the car and drive it over to his house. So that's good. Now what I did was, over here is the factory radiator mount. It has like an actual rubber mount that you can unbolt from it. So I actually just unbolted it. I stuck it over here on the side. So all that's gonna do is it's gonna catch this one right here. That one over there is not gonna catch anything. It's just gonna sit there in the air. So yeah, it's not really gonna look the prettiest. I'm probably gonna use zip ties on the top to hold it up, at least maybe until I can bend up some like aluminum or something and get it mounted kind of correctly, but it's not really going to be correct at all. But I am unfortunately going to have to move the battery to the trunk, which I'm really not excited about, but it is what it is, all in the name of speed. So let me put this radiator in here at least, and maybe I could do it with one hand, show you guys kind of what it looks like. I did get the connector spliced on, so yeah, this is just going to sit down. It's going to sit something like that. So it should be fine. Should get plenty of airflow through it in the front. And like I said, it's just sitting down in that one mount on one side. The other side is actually just resting on top of the traction bar right now. But what I'm going to do is probably just pick it up a little bit, or some kind of way. I don't know. It just barely clears everything in there. Fortunately, it clears the, well, it doesn't really clear this innovative bracketry, but this part of the bracket doesn't move. Only the bottom part moves, so shouldn't have any issues with that. And I haven't actually tried to close the hood or anything, but literally just going to run a zip tie from here to the top of this to hold it this way. And yeah, that'll be it. You can see it's literally rested right on top of the traction bar, so I'll have to find some way to kind of hold it up. But zip ties are your friends. So everybody cover your eyes. I don't want you to see what I'm doing over here. Zip ties. This thing's solid. Got the upper radiator hose on, got the lower radiator hose down there. Went on ahead and zip tied up all that wiring you saw earlier, and got the fan plugged right into the original fan connector. Still got to put the blow off valve on. I probably won't have to do that in order to start it up. I'm thinking about trying to start it up and see if this radiator leaks, make sure I can bleed the coolant correctly. I still got to put the wastegate back on. I did put the factory O2 sensor back down there in that downpipe. As you see, I got the downpipe on. It comes real close to the radiator, but I think I'm going to wrap the downpipe, so I should be good with that. But overall, this is, I mean, it's there, and it should work. Should work just fine. So I don't see why I wouldn't, other than some heat radiating off the manifold and whatnot. But I don't know, there's really just not much room in these engine bays. And for you guys who are new to Hondas, the younger kids, this is what we did, you know, in the early 2000s. I'm sure they did it in the 90s as well. This is just what we did to make it go work and make just so we can go race. That's about it. Of course, the skunked alpha radiator is designed for this car, but now that I think about it, even if I did run that radiator, it's still gonna have to sit the same way, because this manifold is just not gonna allow it to fit, unless the skunk radiator is actually a lot more narrow and doesn't, you know, and it doesn't protrude into this manifold. But as you can see, the manifold there is the issue, and also the downpipe. And of course, you know, you can flip the downpipe so it goes out that side. You could do all this other stuff to kind of get the radiator to sit right, but I'm not really trying to build this car around the radiator. So that should be just fine. I got plenty of flow. Yeah, I shouldn't have any issues, I hope. We'll see, fingers crossed. But remember, this does have a brand new head gasket, ARP head studs in this motor. That's it. Everything else is completely stock. So yeah, I'm gonna try and fill this thing up with some coolant. I'm gonna just rig up the battery with some jumper cables or something just so we can try and start it off the battery, because now I'm going to have to figure out a way to relocate all that to the back. But I do want to see if this radiator leaks and see if we can get it up to temp a little bit. Obviously, when the first time I started it, I couldn't run it for very long because I didn't have any coolant in it, but now I should be able to run a little bit longer, provided I don't make my neighbors too mad. So let's see what we can do. I got my jumper cables just wired up temporarily. Hopefully it works. Hopefully this battery's not dead. I went on ahead and put the overflow just resting right here for now. And like I said, I'm just trying to start this thing for the first time just to make sure that nothing's leaking, like with the turbo feed stuff and with this radiator. So far the radiator's not leaking anything at all, so that's a good sign. I'm just going to crank the motor over. I think just turn it over without starting it just to see if these oil fittings are going to leak right away. Obviously that's not going to be a tremendous amount of oil pressure, but it'll be enough to see if anything's leaking. And then yeah, everything on this, like I said, everything right now is just stock. The goal for me is just to start this up and drive it to my buddy's house so he can fix the downpipe. But I'm hoping everything, cross my fingers, just starts right now and it runs. Let's give it a try. Guys, I don't see any leaks. Should be good. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and let it run a little bit longer and just kind of get it up to temperature, make sure this fan comes on. But I don't want to run it for too long. I think there's just a lot of condensation coming out of the exhaust. I hope it's not fuel, but I'm just going to get the hose ready just in case. We know what happened last time I first tried to start this thing. About set the whole house on fire. But yeah, it sounds great. And obviously not making any boost or nothing, so should be good. But yeah, I'm gonna try and let it run a little bit longer and see if I can get the coolant blood. Good. Just got the wrap, the heat wrap. It's just burning off the whatever smoke that always happens. But so far I've been letting it run for about, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes or so, and it's doing all right. Good enough to drive to my buddy's house, I would think. And the car's sounding great, guys. I'm getting excited. I'm hoping we can get to be able to drive it soon. There's not really much left I need to do to it. I'm really just trying to get it ready so I can drive it to my buddy's house, like I said, so he can fix the downpipe. I'm probably not gonna really do anything else with the exhaust, really. I just need to get a downpipe in there so I can fit the wideband in there and just get that stuff all sorted. I had one problem with the fan. Fan wouldn't come on. When I applied power directly to it, it came on. So probably just have a bad coolant temperature sensor, most likely. But aside from that, it's running great. At least good enough to drive it to his house. So I didn't have any leaks, no oil leaks, no coolant leaks, none of that. So I'm happy. So just stay tuned. Next week I am going to be going to the drag strip with the Lexus. So be on the lookout for that video. I'm excited to see what that thing will do. I did turn it up. It's running about 10.5 pounds, 11 pounds right now. So it's running good. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.